Am I the a-hole for not inviting my aunt and uncle to my wedding after I found out they're against gay marriages? That's story number 1. Today's topic is Am I the a-hole? Let's hop right into story number 1. I'm a 26-year-old female, and my husband's 26. We got married in 2018, just after the plebiscite in Australia in which everyone voted whether to legalize same-sex marriage or not. I'm openly bi, and would like to preface this by saying that bisexuality is not half gay, it is gay. I'm a gay person. My family has a group chat. Before we had sent out invites to our wedding, my aunt and uncle posted in the chat, talking about the plebiscite and arguing against legalizing same-sex marriage. Keep in mind, they initiated this conversation. While I'm very comfortable being a vocal advocate for LGBTQIA+ rights, I tend to keep political, religious, and socio-political issues at a conversation with family just to avoid tension and unnecessary argument. I saw these messages and was obviously hurt that they did not think people like me deserve the right to marry but were planning on attending my wedding. There are some other instances recently where my uncle had vocally criticized and called out my views via Twitter and put me on blast to his followers. By the way, I'm quite left-wing and he's quite right-wing. This included calling me names and teasing. I ended up just blocking him and did not engage in arguments for the same reason I don't talk with family about these issues. Because of all this, we did not feel comfortable having them in attendance at our wedding. I sent a message to the group chat while the discussion about the plebiscite was still ongoing and said something along the lines of, "I'm very disappointed to see that you do not think I deserve the right to marry whoever I love, yet are expecting to come to my wedding just because it happens to be a person with a wiener. This wedding is a gay person's wedding, and if you do not support gay marriage, then you will not be receiving an invite to my wedding." I then left the group chat. My aunt and uncle claimed I was entitled and delusional to think that not one person in attendance at my wedding was against gay marriage. Well, for the next year, their outrage about being uninvited caused a major divide in the family, which they blamed on me. They blamed my mom for not forcing me to invite them, since my mom was contributing financially. And although my mom did understand my reasons, it caused a rift between us because she was facing the brunt of my aunt and uncle's anger and the family's general discomfort. Not once did my aunt, uncle, or the rest of the family come to me to discuss this issue, and because my mom and I are incredibly close, seeing her stressed and distressed about the situation was extremely hard for me. The frustration, hurt, and stress festered up in me, and I did not enjoy planning my wedding. In fact, I hated it and considered calling the whole thing off and just going ahead and eloping on several occasions because it's just become too stressful for me to deal. Let me know, guys, am I the a-hole? Wow, guys, I think OP found herself in an extremely toxic situation. I have to lock in not the a-hole simply because it's OP's wedding. She can invite who she wants, but besides that, it seems her family is full of homophobes and is completely toxic. I would love to hear your opinion on this story in the comments section down below. So tell me, what would you do exactly if you were in OP's position? Okay, our next story is another Am I the a-hole story, and it involves the OP who is paying his father a monthly allowance because his father's retired and he wants him to have a good life. The problem arises when his wife is not happy about this. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button, and let's check out story number 2. I'm a 35-year-old male. My wife's 28. We've been married for 3 years now. My dad's 65 and retired with a small but decent pension. My mom passed away when I was 10. And my dad never remarried and never had another relationship, to my knowledge. He raised me and my sister by himself and worked 3 jobs for over 10 years to support my sister and me through university. My dad is the hardest working person I've ever known or heard of. He is my inspiration and my hero. He was born in a tin hut in rural Bangladesh and came to Canada with nothing, working tirelessly every day to help himself out. I am very successful. I've been taking care of my dad since I graduated university, and I provide him with about $1,000 a month, and my sister, who's a social worker, gives him about $300. His house is paid off, and I paid for a full renovation to his place this year, which my wife was not happy about. But this place just needed major work. My wife came to me last week and suggested I stop giving my dad monthly money, as he now gets a small pension from work and an old age pension from the government. And he basically has no bills except for minimal utilities, food, gas on a bins I bought for his 65th birthday, and other personal stuff. I told her I want him to chill now that he's older and he worked hard his whole life. I have the extra money. I can give it to him to help him. It helps him eat at better restaurants, get a nice suit every now and then, go on holidays, etc. He also started seeing a woman who's in her 42nd, and they're pretty happy, so I'm extremely happy for my dad. The money helps with dates and stuff like that and gives him a better standard of living. My wife just basically put her foot down and told me that we need to save more money, but we don't. I pulled in $500,000 last year, and she made around $110,000. We're doing very well, we have no kids, and I own our condo we live in outright. She basically called me in a hole for guilting her into giving money to my dad and said he's a grown man and can figure things out himself. Am I the a-hole? Yeah, guys, I'm gonna have to say not the a-hole on this one. The reason is it's not like OP and his wife are struggling for money. OP simply wants to help his father out with a mere $12,000 a year when he makes over $500,000. The only reason he's successful in life is because his father had such a hard life and gave him the opportunities he has. For that reason, I have to say not the a-hole, and I think his wife is pushing boundaries way too hard. Let me know what you think, though, in the comments section down below. I hope you're enjoying today's content. If you are, smash that like button. Here comes story number 3. So how to begin with this? I realize on paper, I'm totally the a-hole. But when you dig deeper into my motivations, I'm hoping it's more of a gray area than anything else, and maybe even I did the right thing. When I was a teenager, my dad bought me a classic 1972 Ford Bronco. It was my true passion. And I don't recall a memory from high school that somehow does not involve that truck. Plus, my dad and I would spend hours and hours working on it together, and we went through that especially father-son rough patch when I was a teenager. It was always that Bronco that brought us back together. I made a huge mistake and sold the truck when I turned 19, and my dad died of a heart attack 2 months later. So while not logical, I've always felt a karmic connection between the two events. We had a baby in early February. She's our first and the light of my life. My wife's doing well, but she's back at work and she's realized that she hates all that daycares we've tried and really wants to be a stay-at-home mom. Plus she's still very hormonal from delivery, lack of sleep and breastfeeding, of course. So she's having a rough time and is angry a lot. I guess I need to say this. 2 weeks ago, I was driving through our town's warehouse district and saw a Bronco that was pretty beat up but resembled mine. I stopped just for nostalgia's sake, and the owner came out and let me take a look inside. My dad and I glued a wheat penny underneath the dashboard as a sort of security measure. So I just checked, and I'll be damned, it was my Bronco. I asked him if he'd ever consider selling it. He said actually, someone was on Interstate 25 as we spoke, at this exact moment, from Colorado, coming to buy it for $21,000. I freaked out and asked him if I could buy it right then and there for $23,000. Well, he said I could if I could come up with the cash. Yes, I had been procrastinating setting up a $529. So I had $12,000 bucks in savings that my wife's parents had given us. I maxed out my credit card to Venmo, and my mom brought down a check for $4,000, and I ducking drove away with my old car. It was like a dream come true, like a literal dream come true. Yeah, it needs a lot of work I can't afford right now, but it's mine, like in my driveway again. I can't even describe what a joy this is. My wife and her parents are furious with me. They feel I was deceptive and that a real man would have sacrificed anything and everything so my wife could stay at home with his kids. And that's setting aside that they gave us the money for a college fund. My point is our daughter's only 6 months old. We have 18 years to set up a college fund for her. But this Bronco means everything to me. And if I wouldn't have acted right away, it would have been gone forever. Now it can be the same connection between me and my kids. To me, it's the literal meaning of happiness. Like I said on paper, yes, a whole story gray area. How do you guys see it? Edit number 1. Had no idea this would go so one way. I guess I messed up. I talked with my mom, and she's basically going to buy the Bronco for me in order to refill the college fund and pay off the credit card. The $4,000 will just be a gift, and she's going to give me whatever I need to restore it. She's always been awesome to me, and she'd rather the money be spent now than wait for me and my sister's inheritance. Sorry to get everyone so mad at me. I was thinking with my emotions and acted badly. Alright, guys, so this story was definitely heartfelt. The majority of people did say that OP's the a-hole for this, but I just have to say no one sucks here. I think that because OP was super attached to his dad, even though they had fights growing up, and that Bronco is what held their bond together, so I can understand why he used everything he had to buy it in that exact moment. Guys, let me know what you would have done if you were in OP's position. Like I said, I do not blame OP for that decision. In hindsight, yeah, it might have been the wrong one, but hey, I can't blame them. Okay guys, I think this one's pretty easy to me. I'm going to say that OP is the a-hole just because he knew that she was vocally against having children, and he did not know how far that extended to. I think blindsiding her like the way he did was downright dirty. Guys, let me know what you think of this one in the comment section below. That's going to wrap up all the videos for us today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one. Have a great night.